Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Tales of Glory is a beautiful looking game. It has promise of adventure and glory and coin that you can gain as you gather through this adventure. Sort of. It's really abstract. So a lot of things that you're doing are not going to be like your dungeon crawl or these big epic moments, but the artwork and the theme of the game really keep pressing that on you, which is a plus to the game. So the artwork is beautiful. The adventure you're going on, you squint, you can see it. What are you doing in this game? You're going to be card drafting. And what makes it interesting is that there's going to be tiles up that you can get and the different prices and things that they can do. If two people go after the same thing, they're not going to get it. The lower person will get it, and you'll be stuck with getting nothing that round, and then you're going to get all the leftover. So you want to think about who's going for what do they need, what they're likely to get, and how I can manipulate that to get what I want. So sometimes you go to your second or third choice, but then somebody else also went to their second or third choice, and now you're stuck with a subpar tile because of that decision. That's going to play out sometimes. That's going to be the card drafting. Once you have the tiles, you're going to place them in. They're going to have costs and different things and how they fit and what sides you're putting them on may unlock things for you as you're going through the adventure. And that's the really fun part, I think. I do like the drafting in this. I think that's a very interesting thing. I like how you're trying to read your opponents. That's going to turn some people off, though. And then the second part of where you're putting it, you're tiling and you're setting it up to get your goodies and how you're going to manipulate your board in order to maximize your points for the thing. There's a lot of like little tricky things that are going on, but it does feel like two distinct parts that you're doing in it. And it works well. It clicks together almost like peanut butter and jelly. Like it's a perfect combination. And when you're done, you're like, wow, I got this dungeon. I've gone on this journey. These things have fit in. I got the key there to open the treasure. It all kind of fits through it. You don't think at first that's all going to fit in, and it does. Tales of Glory is a very solid game. Now, one of the negatives to it, I think, is that the box art and the promise of adventure isn't necessarily in the box. It's kind of a mismatch a little bit. So I think if you go in thinking it's one thing and you get something else, it may disappoint you. But if you know going in what you're going to get, I think that artwork in the adventure theme and the kind of dungeon dwelling theme, if you will, kind of elevates it a little bit. So it almost depends on what expectations you're going into with it. This is a very solid, very well designed game. One I would highly recommend and tell you to check out. It's light, it moves quick, there's not a lot of downtime, and never overstays its welcome. Almost a perfect package, if you will, in that regard. For us, it's a keeper. This is a very good game, one I could easily recommend to you, and you can definitely play it with your families. Here's Tales of Glory. You can see it's got a very beautiful cover of how this warrior, maybe a dwarf warrior, is going in and fighting the dragon. Very tells you exactly how many players, how much time. Very, very good. You have a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get some nice little cardboard. This will be for the number of players that you have, and you'll be discarding some cards. This is like the little player board. Yeah, it's based on the number of players, but just a place to put the cards and a reminder that there might be some extra cost. All right, so there's no insert. I'm going to open this up. I'll show you what everything looks like. So this will be what the components look like. These little containers are mine, but these will be your victory point chips, nice little cardboard. You can have your little keys. I wish these are just a tad bit bigger than they are, but they fit on the board fine. Some little mementos and rubies and stuff you can get. And then you can have cardboard money, which works fine. As for the tiles, they're going to have little sides on them. There's going to be some for second round and third, etc. But you can see there's a little artwork on these. And then you'll have the cost and kind of what you'll get for them. And you can see the connectors that you might have. If you connect these up, then you get those bonuses. Very easy to see. The artwork on it is fabulous. Fantastic artwork. You're going to have these little bidding cards that you'll have the different characters, depending on what space you want to go to. And you'll have your little goodies that you'll start out with as you're playing through. And your beginning tile, which everyone will start out with something here. These are all really good quality. The components are really good. No real issues with any of this. Now, there were some printings that the components weren't that great. There were some mistakes made. My copy doesn't have any of those, but this is a really good production, as you can see here. Here is the rule book. You can see a picture from the front of the box. You're going to get a picture of the components right here, which is always nice. A 2-page spread of the setup. This is super duper helpful that you're going to have here. And then this will be the outline of the game. This is what you need to do. If you just want to kind of have this out, it'll walk you through it. Then, of course, there's going to be a more detailed. You're going to have nice pictures. It's an example with a humongous picture. It takes up most of this as you go through. Breakdown of the adventure tiles, how to play the tiles, more adventures, or more examples inside of these boxes, which is really handy for organization as you go through. and it tells you how to set up for the next round. This will be the end of the game, how to score. There's a little, if you want to play with the experienced tiles, you can add those in, and then a list of the rewards if you just want to know what the icons, etc., that will pop up. The back was wasted space, but the artwork is good. There's no real player aid. You're going to be using this book as a player aid like this. I would like to see that as a player aid or maybe on a tile instead. Rulebook is good. I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8. Very good rulebook, and you shouldn't have any problems learning how to play. My goal here is just going to be to give you a quick overview of how to play. You can have the board. Based on the number of players, you will choose this. Let's say you're 3-player. It tells you at the end you're going to discard the 2 lowest cards. You're going to have tiles that have 1s, 2s, and 3s on them. We'll start out with 1s, and you just kind of put these out where everybody can see the tiles, and then you'll have a discard over here, or one you can use for later on in the game. Then what players are going to do is secretly choose one of their cards. So in a 3-player game, 7 and 8 wouldn't be used because you're only using 6. On the back of this, you'll have 8 tiles. And let's say you put out a 4 and nobody else chose a 4, then you would simply take the 4 tile, you would pay the cost on it, and then you would get the reward, and you would place it in your little space. Now, when you space it up, you want to kind of get these connectors to connect. As you can see, it's not a requirement, but you do need to have those kind of put together. And when you place it, it always has to be face up where you can see something like this. And this would probably be the better move. So I'm going to get 2 victory points, get the first player marker, and there'll be a chest here. If I can get a key later in the game, if I'm able to get a key, I can press it on that and I'll get 2 extra coins. A lot of times you're going to get keys by matching up the icons on the side of these. Now, if 2 people were to put 4 down, then you would go in turn order. So if I went first, I took it, and then somebody else played a 4, it wouldn't be available there. You continue to go around, everybody would do it, and then you would go a second time, but the second time you just choose a tile in order. What do you want? And that's how that would go. So if there's a very attractive tile and you're not first player, you may not want to go after it because you may get left with what's left over rather than the second best tile or your second choice in tile. So most of the game, after you get through that stage, it's going to be just building these up. And as you're able to connect these, etc., your little adventure will continue to go, and you'll be scoring points, etc., and trying to maximize these. You'll play the game for 10 rounds. After 10 rounds, whoever has the most coins will get the majority token, and then there'll be some cards that will give you victory points on them, and then whoever has the most points is the winner. So very easy. You'll be drafting these cards using simultaneous secret selection, and then you'll place the tiles out, hoping to generate combos, etc., in order to score points and get resources. These tiles will cost, like this one cost a coin, so you're going to need to get resources, coins, and potions, etc., rubies on this one in order to pay for them. And if you look here, if you're able to connect, like say these 2 tiles, that's fine, then I'm going to get this goodie right here, 2 victory points and a blue. If I was able to go here, I get a red and 2 coins. So you can see how the combos, etc., you can build up will be able to generate for you. And that's a quick overview of how you play Tales of Glory. Who should buy this game? This would be a game I'd recommend for midweight or lighter gamers. I think that if you're into tiling, I think this is going to be a very unique experience for you. I do like the added of the drafting end of how you get the tiles, and then when you place them, gives you a whole bunch of decisions that you will feel ramifications for the entire game. You can play this with families. I'd probably say 8, 9 would be a good age to start introducing people into this. My kids didn't have any problem with it, but they've grown up with games. This would be a very fun experience, and the theme really elevates it to me. Keeper for us.